We have a show to do today.
The whole new acronym thing drives me effing bananas. Can we call him by his name?
Felger and Mazz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
What are your jumping off points in this series?
Okay, so look, to me, that they both fired their manager within basically 48 hours of one another, 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. And the responses have been different, at least in my eyes. The Red Sox, to me, are still the same team. I don't feel like they've really changed all that much. Now, the wins and losses might have improved a tick.
So they're 7-6 since they fired Cora. They were 7 games under 500 with Alex Cora.
Correct.
Scoreboard, they're better.
Okay, and I would also tell you all of that came in one series. It was a series against Detroit. That's it. The rest of the time, they've been the same team. The Philadelphia Phillies, they swept the series against Detroit. That was it.
Yep.
Okay, that's the majority of the difference.
I get it.
And so, otherwise, they've continued to lose series. Philadelphia has not lost a series since they got rid of Rob Thompson. They've won, they're 10-3 in their last 13 games. And I think that what this affirms is that the difference in baseball comes down to your talent playing to its level. And so Philadelphia has talent. Now, again, you can say it's aging talent. They ran it back. They should have shaken up the roster. Dombrowski's run the system. Like, you can come up with any million. They still have talent on that big league team. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Christopher Sanchez. That team's stacked with players. So their players are now awake and performing because they blew the manager out the door. That's not unusual in baseball. I would tell you what's happening with the Red Sox is I would be disheartened if I'd seen what they have done since the firing. I don't think they're really any different. Again, whether they're a little better than 500 or not.
Mazz, this I agree with. Their record is 7-6. But I don't feel there's a lick of difference with this team.
They're the same team.
I mean, what are they doing differently? There's a few little things on the margins that I can tell you that they've done differently since Cora that have worked, I guess. Well, one is, and there's not enough track record on it, but what they're going to do tonight. Bayo is your quote-unquote starter, but they're going to have an opener. Didn't they do this last week, and Bayo actually turned it around and pitched well?
He did. Very well. Went 7 innings out of the bullpen.
Okay, so that was a good idea because he was completely, it's kind of a mental case, right?
Yep.
And the last start, he pitched a fit when the manager came and got him. So they didn't bury him, but they just said, all right, let's try this. Well, you're going to come in the second inning versus starting the game. Just see if that puts you in a different place. And it worked. Alex Cora didn't do that.
No.
So good idea. Let's see if that works the second time.
Sure.
Again, very short sample, but that did work. And another thing is, not like he's hitting, but Durbin is in the 8-hole versus the 2. I know that started before Cora was fired, but I don't know. It feels like the lineups are a little bit different, Mazz, wouldn't you say?
Yes, yeah. They've shifted it around a little bit, and I think you're seeing more of an analytical lineup, for lack of a better words, coming from upstairs. Yes.
Are they pitching better?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I would say so. Sanchez was starting to pitch better when Cora was here. But, Tolley got added to the rotation. Connolly Early's been pretty good all year long. So I would say the big ones are probably the addition of Tolley and Bayo being better the last time through.
What did you say the Phillies were since Manley took over?
10-3.
And you're just 7-6. So, and you're saying the difference there is that the Phillies are actually, good.
Yeah, they have talent. And so now their players have been woken up. And you can see how it can happen in Philadelphia. They have a lot of veteran guys who've had the same manager. They've lost in October a bunch of years in a row. And so all of a sudden it's not, how do you get up for the regular season when that happens? And they came out and played like ass. So they blew out the manager, brought in, or elevated Mattingly is what I should say. And now all of a sudden there's a change there. The dynamic is different. So they're playing better. Now, listen, I'm not telling you I think the Phillies are going to win the World Series, but I think the Phillies are better than the Red Sox. That's my only point.
Okay. You want what I got?
Yes.
I'm
go.
smirking. I can't.
No, I want to know. Go.
Okay. I want credit for it.
Only if it happens.
I don't want any responsibility if it doesn't, because I don't think I personally believe it.
Okay.
But someone...
It's like me with Belichick in North Carolina.
I bet that is much more solid than this.
Okay.
But this is something that I can just kind of see happening.
Okay.
Because it's so out there.
Okay.
I can see it. But I'm not presenting this to you as baseball sources inform me that this is coming.
Gotcha. You're really confident in this.
But I feel it's my responsibility as a host of a one-source show. And I would say even the use of the word source
is loose.
Very. But if something interesting comes across my phone, I'm going to present it. And don't blame me. It's just my phone and a Fakakta Brown checkmark. And I use the term lightly. Source. It's really not. It's just someone who heard something.
Okay.
Don't be surprised if we end up with Mike Trout. Great source. He's 100 years old, but they think he's a better leader than Bregman and will hit a bunch of home runs at Fenway Park. And LA likes Duran and Bello.
It crossed my mind.
Would you put it past John Henry to be reactionary and reach for a move to try and regain the narrative?
No.
If you will, and shake it up and do something bold and kind of stupid and thing?
Mike, it's the same guy who told Linda, take a photo of me with my victory cigar after they signed Bregman, and then gave an extension to Rafael Devers that they didn't want to do because he got booed at the Winter Classic at Fenway. Yes, this definitely sounds like something that he would give the green light to.
He would do it because it's so reactionary, and it just sort of feels as off the wall as trading Rafi Devers in the first place, and kind of a reaction at this point of the season. And so Mike Trout. After this year, he has 4 years left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At $37 million a year, which what you're paying Bregman? 40.
Right. Exactly right.
Okay. So but for luxury tax purposes, his salary is computed at 35. So it's not for luxury tax purposes. You get a little bit of a break, 35.5 to be exact. His payroll, his salary annual is 37.1. He's got 4 years left after this. So if you want to say he has 4.5 years left, that would be 4.5 years for a total of 167. Is that crazy?
No, it's not. I was going to say focus on the total dollars, okay? Because, again, it's only 4 years. So you're talking about the kind of deal that Bregman just signed. I mean, this is not the kind of deal that scares them. What scares them is the $350 million deal. That's what scares them, or the $300 million deal where you've got, 10 years. Okay, but I could totally see them doing something like this. Yes. In fact, it crossed my mind, if you want to know the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. Trout got off to a good start this year. He's hitting home runs. He looks pretty good. He's been all kinds of injured over the last number of years. He hasn't had a healthy year in a long time.
But this one, he's played pretty much every day.
Yep, he's played in 41 games so far.
41 games. He's got 11 home runs, OPS of 924. Batting average is middling, as everyone's is, at 248. But he's hitting for power, and he's out there every day. He's 34. You would have him for the next 4.5 years, and you would sort of regain the narrative, get people off your back. Wouldn't spend all that much more money. I mean, you'd spend a little more money, but what does Duran make? What is Duran slated to make?
Oh, gosh.
Is he at $10 million yet?
I think he's just under that. I want to say
he's at 7.75.
Yeah, I think he's
and Bello is what?
Remember they cut his salary last year? Remember that, Duran?
Oh, yeah, right, for like $100,000 or something,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Should have cut him.
And Bello's comes in around $8 million on average, I think it is, for his contract. So, somewhere in that area.
So 15 out the door, 37 back, net of around 20 for still one of the biggest names in the game.
Yeah, I bet you'd even get money in that deal.
I'm just saying, listen, it's my responsibility to present for Fakakta things that come across my phone. If it happens, you can thank me. If it's wrong, don't blame me.
Okay.
It's not my fault.
Would you do it?
Yes. To get rid of Jarren Duran? That pill? Yes.
Okay, so for those two guys, I would do it.
And Bello? That child? Yeah.
So
easy.
In which case, basically what's happening is Anaheim's dumping the money. They're dumping it on you, and you're the only real guy that will hurt you there potentially is Bayo if somehow he figures it out. And I'm not saying
he's not gonna.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm just telling you. You weigh the pluses and minuses of the deal.
Here's the reason I think it won't happen, and not like so. I can wrap my head around all those things we just did. I can wrap my head around Henry doing it. Like that's a big contract, but it's only 4 years. It's only $100 million. It's not $300 million, and if there's money going out the door, what's the actual net of that? And so the money might not be as crazy as you think. And yeah, the player's old, and yeah, he's going to be 39 when the deal's over. But for Henry to regain the narrative and get for once, some positive, okay, he bats right-handed, if Trout does.
Of
like
course.
it's a huge need, a right-handed
course.
hitting outfielder. Like, never mind that. So, like, I can sort of wrap my head around all those. I can sort of build a path for that deal. I can't believe that there's not a team out there that wouldn't better that.
No, I would agree. There'd be in fact, I don't know what the financial situation is in every market. How about Philly?
Right. So, like, there's teams like Philly, the Mets. I don't know if the Yankees are still that team, but, like, bold teams, the Blue Jays at this stage, who have better pieces to offer and are willing to take the same chance you would be. And I can't. So what I can't believe is that there isn't a team out there that could beat Jarren Duran, Brian Bayo for Mike Trout. Someone I think would come up with a better offer, meaning a better prospect, like a higher rated prospect who doesn't make $8 or $9 million. And now you get to start over with the contract if you're the Angels and just start over. What are the Angels doing this year?
They're one of the worst teams in baseball. Again.
So if you're the Angels, isn't it time on Mike Trout?
In fact, they might be the worst team in baseball. I think the other day they had the worst record in the majors.
The Mets have fewer wins at 15. The Angels are at 16 wins.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
16 and 26.
I mean, I think you could make the case that the Mike Trout thing ran out,
5 years ago.
That reached its expiration date years ago in Anaheim. So I can see the Angels being ready. I can wrap my head around all those things we just talked about with the Red Sox.
Trout might be ready.
It doesn't sound that preposterous to me. Trout himself might be ready at this
Right, because
stage.
he's easily a 10-5 man, which means he's got veto power.
Now, but he might be ready to move. Is he going to go to a last place team?
I doubt it.
Where people give a crap now?
No, he'd want a team where he can win.
Now, I'm not sure it'd be any more gentle for him with the Mets or the Phillies. So, like, what are his choices now? I just can't believe that would be the Angels' best offer. So, ultimately, that. But anyway, Brown checkmark alert. Mike Trout. Put it on the board unless it's wrong, then I forget I ever said it. To your calls right after these words.
I don't own it.
Felger and Mazz continues on the Sports Hub.
Is there any way the Red Sox can move off him and make a change in the infield?
They do have that option, yes. I was struck on, I want to say, Chad Tracy's first day or second day after getting the interim manager job. The way he described Marcelo Meyer, Trevor Story was Marcelo was the second baseman and Story was the shortstop right now. So to me, that indicated an open-mindedness to making the swap there and putting those guys at maybe their better positions. Marcelo Meyer's not just a natural shortstop, but generally regarded on his way up through the minors as a very good one. Trevor Story's defensive issues have been well documented. So if they just switch those guys, which is kind of tough to do midseason, but they're both athletic and can figure it out. If they just switch those guys, the Red Sox might improve themselves.
Story is now in his fifth season with the Red Sox. Okay, it's a 6-year deal. And so my wheels started spinning this morning because when I looked at it, I said, geez, you know what? Like, you look at that. Did you know that over the length of that time, Xander Bogaerts' numbers, as bad as they have been in San Diego, are better than Trevor Story's?
Is that right?
Okay, Xander Bogaerts has graded out as a better player, both in modern metrics and traditional ones, over the last 4+ years since he went to San Diego. Mm-hmm. So nobody has ever blamed the Red Sox for failing to give Xander Bogaerts $290 million. Once it got to that number, we knew that, forget it, it's over, okay? But The Red Sox might have been able to keep Bogaerts if they had signed him earlier. In fact, they might have been able to give him the exact deal that they gave Trevor Story. So then it occurred to me, the Red Sox on that deal saved themselves about $150 million. But they got a worse player. They traded Mookie Betts in 2020 to the Dodgers because they didn't want to sign him to the mega deal. They got nothing back. None of those players turned into anything. Verdugo, Jeter Downs, Connor Wong, who's a backup catcher. Then last year, they traded Devers and got out from that $300 million deal for James Tibbs, Kyle Harrison, and Jordan Hicks. They have since dumped Hicks. They traded both Harrison and Tibbs. So they got nothing out of that deal. They traded 3 cornerstone players in their operation, albeit for different reasons. Bogaerts is more of a leader. The other 2 were better on the field. And got nothing back. Bogaerts was a free agent loss, but effectively they swapped him for Story because the money was cheaper. They saved themselves $800 million thereabouts. $350 for Betts, $300 million for Devers, $150 million on Story. Okay? Because of the money that they would have had to pay Bogaerts on that 12-year deal. They're happy about it over there, I think. If they were purely financial moves, they got nothing out of it. How do you manage assets like that where you're just looking to dump money and you get no talent back, and then you want to explain to people why you suck? Like, that to me is unconscionable. That is unconscionable, to just dump the contracts because you don't want to pay them and not get any players back. None. They got nobody back. So, Story sucks, and all the players they got in those other 2 deals blow. Every one of them.
So you think John Henry's sick of hearing that?
Probably, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop.
No. But how does he get you to stop saying that?
Mike Trout?
Might be one way. Sean in Rhode Island. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I would personally drive Duran and Bayo to Anaheim myself, especially for Mike Trout. Could care less about the money. Like you guys said, they need something to win the fans back over. It's actually incredible how inefficient the team has been over the last 5 years with the decision-making. I'm sure losing to Tampa with $200 million less of payroll and getting pants by them, essentially, that probably hurts Henry's ego, I would assume.
Yes.
But overall, I think the real issue Breslow has made, I mean, he's been able to develop prospects. We got left-handed pitchers coming out of our ears, but not a single bat. So why hasn't he flipped some of these prospects for somebody major league talented that can actually hit, make this product watchable? I don't know why I'm still watching, but I am.
Okay. You're about not to. Like, they're getting to the stage where it's going to be you just can't watch. You have to turn it off.
I mean, I had a hard time watching over the weekend.
It's just, bad news after bad news after bad news. One thing that he's getting over the head with after the next. And this was right around the time last year. When did they trade Devers last year?
Early June, late May.
Okay, so we're getting to right around the time where you do, I don't know. Like I said, I can build the case for it on the Red Sox side of it.
June 15th that happened.
Okay, middle of June.
So we're a little bit away from that. Just file it away. John in the car, back to the Celtics. Go ahead, John.
Real quick, Mike. That's why Trout's never going to come here. Why would he? He can go somewhere else where they're going to spend some money. That's embarrassing, Tony, that you just gave that stat.
Well, what if his other choices are the Mets and the Phillies?
I'd go to Philly.
Yeah, I mean, he loves Philadelphia. If he has any say in it.
He's a Philly guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he goes to all the
Jersey,
Eagles
actually,
games.
yeah.
That's right. He's a Philly fan. Doesn't he go to the games or something?
He goes to all the Eagles games.
He goes to Eagles games.
Yeah.
That's right. He goes to Eagles games.
And be a great place to hit.
Better than here?
Yeah, because you can hit it out to all fields in Philadelphia.
But also being a Eagles fan and a Philadelphian,
he might know that it. Yeah.
Doesn't he know how big of an a-hole the actual a-hole factor is worse there than it is even here?
Well, so this is the alarming thing about Trout. He has always seemed content to just stay out in Anaheim.
Right.
He's never put up much of a stink.
I'm just saying, like, Boston is a million miles from Anaheim and a completely different experience. The Phillies and the Mets might be the two places that are actually worse. Anyway, I'm sorry, John. Go ahead. What'd you call on?
Like, the Celtics are not a good team, and that's what nobody ever said.
Okay, so when you say that, when you say, so they have good players. You acknowledge they have good players.
But they're like a canoe, like two people in a canoe that never paddle right, and they just go in circles. That's what they're like. They're never pulling the rope in the same direction. And all I see is like a mother dog, and all the little puppies are trying to eat. And there's Brad Stevens, and then there's Jason Tatum, and then there's Derek White, and Missoula, and the little midget, Peyton Pritchard. And at the end is Jaylen Brown trying to get some milk. But that nipple doesn't work because they're all out. And
all right, I got the analogies.
They're not a bad team.
They're a talented team. They have now, I think, officially, even though they won a title, they've officially gone into the underachiever camp. They should have done more. And if not another championship, there's just no excuse to losing to the teams in the East you've lost to. There's just not. There's no excuse losing multiple times to the Heat. There's no excuse losing to that Knicks team. There's no excuse losing to the Sixers team. So if that means they're not a good team, I don't know. That's one way to put it. They're underachieving, and something has to change. I just can't believe you're going to pick trading a star player over firing the coach as the thing that changes. That, to me, is kind of stupid, but we'll see how that all plays out. Here's an update from Big Jim, and we're right back.
Whee! Goalie fight.
Felger.
Whee! Look at the goalie fight.
Oh,
Mazz.
oh my God.
Murray.
He sucks in the playoffs.
That's great. No.
98.5.
Wonderful. Good.
The Sports Hub.
There's been a little bit of I say movement. It's too strong, but whatever. I've heard some chatter in Bruins circles about this David Pastrnak video that they captured in between the first and second period of that horrid, ridiculous Sunday matinee playoff loss to the Buffalo Sabres, where he's yelling at the team. And, like, I've heard people then, like, sort of equate this to, like, oh, captain material. Oh, give him the C. Like, that's the immediate thing. If you haven't heard it, it's been out for a couple days. I've kind of ignored it because I don't really care. But here's David Pastrnak. Between the first and second period, I think Bruins, was it 4-0 at the end of that first break?
4-0, yep.
On that hideous Game 4 Sunday afternoon against the Sabres. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Embarrassing! We talked about it! It's a afternoon game! Gotta be ready! No, we show up, we lose every battle! Boom! 3-0, 2 mistakes! We get a out battle! Outskate everything! Guys playing without MCL! And this is how we show up! Embarrassing, boys! Take it up!
Neat.
A lot good at, did you?
I'm just so am not impressed. Don't care.
I equate. Do you remember the one from Connor McDavid a couple of years ago? Was that first series with the Panthers? I look at it as like a temper tantrum more than anything else. Like, it doesn't really do much for me. Unless you go on to end up winning the series, or they came back in dramatic fashion or pushed this to 7 against Buffalo, then okay. It makes it a little more interesting to watch and say that helped motivate the boys. It kind of fell on deaf ears. It felt like a temper tantrum more than anything else.
Murray's right. And the other thing is, isn't part of the challenge to make sure it doesn't happen in the first place?
Well, I lose track. Was this a game where he was -3 or -2 or -2 again? He was -7 for the series. He was -3 one game. He was -2 another. He was -2 another. So he was either -2. I think he was on the ice. I did actually briefly look at it this morning. He was on the ice for the 5th and 6th goals against, I want to say, or 4th and 5th. I do forget. But he was on the ice. They were down 5-0, I want to say, maybe even 6-0 before they got on the board in that game. He was on the ice for a couple of them. So was this the game again? I was a little confused. After the game where he was on the ice for the 2 of the first 3 goals, that was game 6. Was that the -2 that was in game 3? And I just lose track of him because he's on the ice for so many goals against. I just lose track of exactly what game that is. Oh, David Pastrnak yelled at the team. So now he's a captain when he's on the ice for like 80% of the goals you're allowed in the playoffs. With constant flybys and flying past the zone and playing on the wrong side of the puck and turning the puck over because he yelled at the end of the first period. You're going to make him a captain? Are you kids stupid? Do you watch him play? Remember when Andy Dalton gave his team a pep speech. Remember that one, Murray?
Oh, sure.
I don't know if it
was it Andy Dalton
with the Bengals at the time.
I think it was. Yeah.
Jimmy, do you have it?
I think this is the one you're looking for.
Here you go, guys. 4-0. Whatever it takes. Let's get it. Playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Playmakers.
Did this make Andy Dalton a captain? No.
A lot of enthusiasm from his teammates there.
Here you go, guys. 4-0. Whatever it takes. Let's get it. Playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Playmakers.
I'm not sure if that was him or not. I just asked Jimmy at the spur of the moment because it just popped in my head.
Playmakers.
If David Pastrnak is your captain, you're porked. I'm sorry. He does not get it. He does not play the right way.
Playmakers.
You can handle him on your team if you have someone alongside of him who gets it, i.e. Patrice Bergeron, i.e. Zdeno Chara, or Brady Tkachuk. I don't know. Or someone else. I know you don't like the sound of Brady Tkachuk.
What I would respect if he was screaming
because he came into the locker room after he sucked right along with everybody else.
There, yeah.
And screamed in, pigeon Czech, whatever that was, the broken English, and it sounds fun, like you enjoyed it. But because that, he's now a captain? Well, he's already, I guess, the de facto leader of the team. And they once again no-showed in like half of their playoff games. And that's your captain, all because you get a little thing in your pants for him shouting at the end of a first period? You must not watch the games if you feel that way, honestly. You probably didn't watch him play. I'm sorry, Jim.
No, I think people translate it to like, well, I was yelling this hard at my television watching this first period. He's just like me. He cares that much. Whereas if you wanted to take this more seriously, he'd be yelling and saying like what you just said. Boys, we suck, and I suck too. Like if he actually had some self-awareness there, I'd respect it a little bit more.
Again, David Pastrnak in the locker room after the first period.
Here you go, guys. 4-0. Whatever it takes. Let's get it. Playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Playmakers.
Oh, wee! Make him the captain. He's not a captain. Sorry.
TikTok captain.
I don't care how much he yells. Exactly. You didn't actually watch him. You actually didn't watch him. You just, a 10-second video came over your feed. Okay? If you think he's captain material, then you're just on TikTok and you just saw an entertaining video.
He cares like I care.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, that's all that thing was. It was a freaking TikTok post.
So it's like I haven't even given any time on it because, like, kids' table kind of stuff.
What you talking about, Felger? He cares like I care.
No, he doesn't.
Playmakers.
What is another real quick hockey item? Who got boned? Or what was a dick move, Mazz, that you pointed out in our email?
Oh, my gosh. The Edmonton Oilers wanted to interview Bruce Cassidy to be their head coach for their head coaching vacancy.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, who still technically have a Cassidy under contract because he was signed for 5 years, had the right to reject or turn down the interview and prevent him from doing it. They wouldn't let him interview for the job.
They fired him.
Exactly, Murray. So let me but because they're paying him, they get to, first of all, I didn't know that this.
I don't get how that works.
Me neither. I didn't understand this either.
But once you fired him, he was free.
Well, that's what I thought. I saw the story. I said, you've got to be kidding me. So you're not good enough to coach us, but you can't coach anybody else? F off. That rule blows, and shame on you. So what do you want to do? You want to send the guy to, as you said, the bowels of hell? You want to send him to the bowels of hell and let him burn and perish down there without ever breathing oxygen again? That's it? Just because he can't coach for you, you got to bury him and end his NHL career? That's the goal? And I'm exaggerating, but work with me. That's pathetic. Once you fire the guy, cut bait, let him go. That's the professional thing to do. Bye-bye.
He'd be a good fit there.
He'd be great. There's exactly what they need.
Short term, get him over the hump, and then
absolutely.
Then you can mutiny and get rid of him.
Absolutely, because that's coming too. That's who he is.
That's right.
No, he really is like the, Keenan or Tortorella or take your pick. He's that kind of coach. So he'll burn out, but they won't let him go. You fired him, and you won't let him interview for another job?
Dick move.
Especially when it would even save you money, I presume.
Yeah.
All of that? Oh, you losers. You freaking losers. That's a dick move. Dick move. That's as bad as it gets. You fire a guy, and then you won't let him get another job. What did he do to you? Like, it makes me wonder whether there was something went on there that they said, we're going to stick it to you. And even then, I don't think it's right. Oh, horrible. That pissed me off to no end when I saw that.
All right, there's a little Felger Mazz Hockey Minute. Did you enjoy it? The long commercial-free segment comes your way next. Sean and Lawrence. Go, Sean.
You keep saying, like, oh, I didn't actually watch the game, whether it's Patriots, Celtics, Bruins, whatever. Like, isn't your job as a talk show host to actually watch sports?
So I would say my job is to get you to listen.
That is the job.
Mission accomplished.
Take this job and shove. Felger and Mazz, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
But what happens is every day there seems to be another element of the schedule that comes out. Like today, they say the opening Sunday night game of the year is the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. So the Dallas Cowboys, once again, are in prime time. Once again, it's against the New York Giants. September 13th, Sunday night, John Harbaugh's NFL head coaching debut.
What?
And so there's the first, essentially, announcement this week of all the games that are going to be played. And there'll be more. On Wednesday, we'll get the international games. There'll be other news and information that comes out during the week. And by the time we get to Thursday night, it feels like most of the information has kind of been let out by them. But we'll see how it works out. And I always think the opener, the Wednesday night opener this year in Seattle is always a big deal. It feels like that game's going to be either the Chicago Bears or the New England Patriots. My guess today, and it's a guess, would be the Bears in Seattle on that Wednesday night game before we get to the Thursday night Rams 49ers game.
But just want to play the Schefter cut. We let off the show with this. Just reset quickly the schedule. I know it's been reported that the Patriots are earmarked for that opener, which makes sense to me. Schefter said if he were guessing, it'd be the Bears, which to me would be a mistake. And to me, there's one reason and one reason only. The Patriots should be on opening night in the NFL. Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel. That's it. That story sells. It interests casual fans. It interests women. And it has been the story of the NFL offseason. Sorry to report that, but it's a fact. It's been the most talked about NFL story of the offseason. And that's your first marquee night. Wednesday night. It's going to be Wednesday night this year. Wednesday night, September 9th, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's it, yeah.
It's Wednesday the 9th because they're playing an Australia game, so that's going to be the Thursday night game. So it's Wednesday, September 9th, prime time, off-season of Vrabel Rossini rumors and innuendo and titillating gossip magazine headlines. Put that man on TV opening night. To me, it's a no-brainer.
It'd be good.
You don't do it because it's a good matchup. Most of America is scarred. They still have PTSD from that wretched Super Bowl. That was a complete snooze fest. I think ordinarily the league would take that game off of opening night. Save it to see if both of the teams are good. Save it for later in the year for a Super Bowl rematch among two Super Bowl contenders. Now you got a night. If it's just going to be another, I don't even remember the final, but another 9-0 game at half. So was it, or 12-0, whatever it was. At 9-0, it felt like a blowout. So it gets another one of those. No, thank you. We're not going to put that on opening night. Oh, the coach is involved in a high-profile sex scandal with a number one female information reporter in the league. Okay, yeah, we'll put him on TV.
It ain't the Super Bowl rematch. The scandal's the draw. It is.
So I think in some respects that would be a bad deal for the Patriots. I think that opening night spot is a tough spot. We asked this earlier, even though there's some recent examples of the Super Bowl champion losing at home on opening night. The Chiefs did to Detroit a couple years ago. What was the other example we had, Murray? Who lost on opening night just recently?
The Rams to Buffalo in 2022.
Okay, so there's a couple.
They got destroyed.
Okay, but historically, it's a really good spot for the home team. Since they started doing this in 2004, Murray looked this up. So if we're off by one or two, forgive us. But they started doing this in earnest in 2004. Would have been with you, huh?
Yeah.
So it was Patriots with
Raiders.
We hosted the Raiders that night? Was that?
Yeah, Randy Moss went off in that game for the Raiders.
I was going to say. Right, that was that year. Anyway, since they started doing that, the home team is 16-5. Okay, there's a couple of years missing in there because there was one year when the Ravens won, the Orioles were also playing and they wouldn't change nights or something.
Yeah. Remember that? I remember that.
And now you just have to they don't play in the same stadium.
No,
so why?
But they play right next door to each other, and I think it creates parking.
They don't play on same nights.
Not at the same time. I don't think so.
Okay, so the Orioles wouldn't move. So the Ravens had to play on the road that year. And then a couple years ago, they had the Packers and Bears open up because of the 100th anniversary, and whoever the title winner was didn't play.
The Patriots.
It was the Patriots who got boxed up?
Was Obama giving a speech? Is that why?
No.
The Ravens game?
No, it was an Orioles thing. I remember it vividly.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I remember that too, yeah.
And then it was Packers-Bears. So it doesn't all add up from 04. But anyway, the home team is 16-5 in that spot. So I think you going out to Seattle on opening night's a tough draw. I think you'd rather have them in the middle of the year when Super Bowl hangover, injuries, whatever, start to take hold of the Seahawks. You're getting them fully rested, fully healthy.
And as I mentioned earlier, too, defenses are usually ahead of the offenses to start the NFL seasons. So I don't think that's a good spot for the Pats.
But unfortunately for you, Vrabel Rossini, to me, is just too tempting to put on television. Even if NBC, who has the game, I know will soft pedal it, ignore it altogether. It's just all the offseason buzz around that story. If I were a network executive, this wouldn't even be a decision. We're putting Vrabel on TV in primetime the first chance we get. And we're going to focus on him. We'll see if he's wearing his wedding ring. We're going to do all that stuff. We're going to play that game. So that's why I think you're tabled for opening night, as you should be. But again, tough spot for you. One other thing that we addressed is this sort of counter-narrative, counter sort of take that the Patriots' schedule isn't all that hard. And these are just the opponents, so you don't have the dates yet. That'll come Thursday night. But Sharp Football did an analysis that if you base it on the 2026 projections, okay, so Sharp Football Analysis projects every team's win total. If you base it on what they project the Patriots' opponents to do, the Patriots actually have the 21st ranked schedule. They have an easy schedule if you base it on the projections. If you base it, Mazz, on the 2025 records of these teams, they have the 6th hardest schedule. Which one do you lean towards being closer to the bone?
The actual results of a year ago.
Me too.
The projections are theoretical. That's someone looking at it and saying, here's what we think is going to happen. I'm telling you what did happen a year ago, and it gives you an idea of what the rosters look like coming into the season. When I say look like, you get the idea. It's the first thing we do. Anytime you look at a team's prognosis, you say, how did they play last year? What do they got on paper? That's what the whole question is. So, I go by that.
I think their schedule's a killer. And depending on the travel and where some of these games are, if you're in Detroit Thanksgiving, if you're in Europe for one of these games, if you've got travel. Remember, last year, you set some sort of record for the least amount of actual air miles. You played one game west of the Mississippi, and it's not even really west. It's New Orleans. It's on the Mississippi. You only changed time zones, I think it was twice.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so you hardly ever played out of the Eastern time zone. You never had to go on a long road trip. This year, it's totally different. You're playing in Seattle. You're playing in L.A. You might be playing in Europe. So once I see where and when the games are and what they're bunched around, I think your schedule is going to be an absolute pork fest. And I do not buy this, that their schedule is actually easy. I do not think that's the case. So there's that, and then I had a brown checkmark source. Don't be surprised if the Red Sox get in on Mike Trout. Don't be surprised. Anaheim, from their end, is sort of reeling from the fact that they lost Shohei Ohtani for nothing. They're once again in last place. Mike Trout still has 4 years left. Might they be able to at least peel something back for him and not end up with a big nothing burger like they did with Ohtani? Because that's the way that worked out, right? Was Ohtani a free agent?
To the Dodgers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't get anything in return.
Correct.
So Anaheim's once again in last place, but in a different place with Trout. They apparently like Jarren Duran for some ungodly reason. And would it make sense for you? I think on a lot of levels it would. Not many baseball ones, but sort of in terms of John Henry due for some good news? Is he due for some positive blowback from his fans versus just getting hammered mercilessly?
Yes.
On a daily basis? Never mind, a right-hand bat replaced the leadership of Bregman, and the money is not all that outrageous. He's got 4 years left after this at $37 million a year. You were paying Bregman $40. And if money goes out the door, Duran makes just under 10. I don't know. Is there a path there on that one? That's kind of a whopper of a brown check mark. Like I said, give me credit if it happens. Just disregard if it doesn't.
Ignore if it doesn't come true.
There's your reset. Your calls on everything after big.
Literally a no-lose situation.
It's a Molotov cocktail. Murray's 90-second update. No commercials. We're right back.